figured out. We are going to be playing some Surviving Mars today, which does have the Terraforming Mars expansion. So Green Planet, I think, is what that's called. Figured we could do this today instead of some game development because I do need more content for the YouTube page. I've almost finished uploading the 8 parts for the Beyond Earth challenge that we had last weekend, and so I figured today would be a good day to go ahead and do a longer stream. I'll probably try and recap about every hour or so, just because that's about how long I make the YouTube videos. If you were not aware, we do have a YouTube channel that we are putting up like an hour a day style of just some of the sim and strategy games that we've been playing through up to this point. I'll probably branch out and do other content as we stream that other content, but for right now we're just kind of sticking with strategy games because that's I've played a lot of those, so I feel like that content is probably a little more interesting for folks. Could be completely off base there. If there's something that you would like me to see or like to see me play, just let me know. I do sim, strategy, 4X games, and story-driven first-person shooters. Particularly would be interested in filming some co-op first-person shooters or co-op games in general. Survival games is something else that I've played a lot of and particularly enjoy. So kind of willing to do any and all of the above. Just let me know in the comment section or on Twitter what content you would be interested in. So today we're going to be doing some achievement unlocks. The harder Russian achievements on Steam involve mining 10,000 resources before Sol 100, which I think that will be pretty doable. What I'm not sure is doable is we need to do something. I think it's have a certain number of Russians in, sorry, I have the Steam achievements brought up, but you can't see it on the stream. Where is the harder Russian one? 500 colonists on challenge rating 500 or higher. So I've never done a 500% map on this in this game. I did find a site that I think will be doable. I have no idea what the map looks like. I just know that it's 500%, and it has a lot of water. It's short on concrete, but has a lot of metals, and so I'm kind of hoping that we can go ahead and start extracting those metals very quickly. For our setup, we have Russia. We're going to be doing an oligarch. Let's change our logo. Yeah. We're doing a random mystery. Actually, let's do none. Just because I don't want to have to worry about a random mystery that might prevent us from being able to do the 500%. And so this is going to be our setup. And the idea is we're going to generate a lot of fuel and then use that fuel on our extractors. Our rockets have a longer travel time, so we need to be better about planning ahead. So that's basically what we'll be going for here. As far as our loadout, I do like to start with a bunch of orbital probes because I think your starting location can absolutely make or break you in this game, particularly on the higher challenge ratings. So we do have a fuel refinery, and we're starting with a Stirling generator. Possible that we should be going ahead and getting a moisture evaporator, but we're on a water-rich map. So I am hoping that we'll be able to, within 7 orbital probes, find what we're looking for as far as water source is concerned. Some base supplies just to kind of get our selves established. And we're not starting with a drone command. We're going to go ahead and begin with an RC commander and then purchase that drone command when we start needing or know where we're going to have some permanent locations. So the site that I have selected is at 24 degrees north and 74 degrees east. We're going to have to deal with a lot of dust storms and a lot of meteors. So we're going to have to plan on using a lot of storage containers for both air, for oxygen, as well as water, because our really more air than anything. Our Moxies will not produce during dust storms, and they can last several sols. So we'll have to see how this goes. This might be a site where dust storms just make this not a place we can stay. And so we may have to figure out something else. So I have no idea what this map looks like. So let's go ahead and dive on in and see what happens.
Welcome to Mars.
Boom. All right, so we have a little bit already revealed for us here. I have actually played on this, like, quote-unquote style of map before. So it's, if we start up here, it'd be really important to build an early ramp to get down into this area. And ultimately going over here. So we don't need terraforming hints. We can select our first. Which do we want? Which do we want? We didn't start with a transporter, which for when we get more, when we start with a group that has more resources to begin with, I really do like having transports, but we did not. We're not going to worry about terraforming for a while because we're really focused on our challenge. I think we're going to probably want... I'm trying to remember which trees things are in. We're going to want engineering first, I think. So let's go ahead and grab our probes. And as nice as research is, I think I would like us to start somewhere with more. We do need to find water, so it's pretty important that we find water. $58, $45, so we haven't yet. It's a little concerning. All right, we found some water. So we're probably gonna, how good is this? How good is our water here? That's a decent amount. Low grade, so we're not gonna get a whole lot of water per water miner, but that's probably okay. This may be a situation where we harvest resources away from where we actually have our water, so maybe we'll end up having, we've got 2 concrete nodes here, which is pretty good. So I think we just colonize this area right here. Like, none of our individual concrete deposits are very big, but we knew going into this that that would be the case. And we do have a good amount of metals that are right here. So I think that's probably what we're going to do. We're probably going to have a starting site here. So like maybe our first dome will be somewhere around here. We'll pick between either mining these 2 or mining this. It's only 780. Grade high, that's pretty good. So we'll see how this goes. Like, I definitely think this is going to be a bit of a stretch for me. I'm used to having a lot more resources. But let's see what happens. We'll go ahead and land here. And the only mod that I'm using is one that actually makes fast be 5 times normal speed and fastest be 10 times normal speed. So I just have speed up mods. And that is mostly so that we can play through the game faster. So we're just going to plop down a universal depot right here. And then I want specifically, I want to gather up all of the metals in the area. And we're also just remembered that we need the water for fuel. So we're actually probably going to want to... we may have already made a mistake. So we'll see how this goes first. Let's get... How many do you have? Let's get as many of them as possible. Well, no. We'll leave this now. We'll leave this for now. So you all... We want these guys to grab all this metal. Bring them over here. So right now they're going to start off by just mining all of that stuff. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get on this concrete right here. I'm trying to remember how to rotate. It's been a long time since I played this game. R. And then we're going to put the Stirling generator, which is going to serve as our primary power source at first, right here. Just gonna go ahead and connect that from here on down. Just get on that. And this is only going to produce 10 initially. And this, I think, requires a few. So now we're doing that. Let's go ahead and speed things up. What do we still have in here? We have nothing, but we do have those drones on there. So now we're... extracting concrete. We're going to go ahead and throw down a concrete depot here. And we are eventually going to want to make sure that we get our fuel supplies going. So either we need to get on this and start bringing water over to here where we are set up by the concrete, or we need to send another rocket, produce 50 concrete and a single soul. That's huge. 4 apartment prefabs is excellent. Okay, some of these are awesome. So it kind of feels like Russia struggles early, but is very good late. We'll probably try and get this one as quickly as we can, because that 4 apartment prefabs is pretty stellar. We might cash in one of these supply pods right away. Can we get a prefab on here? These won't work during dust storms though, and we're in a very heavy dust storm area. So I'm seriously considering just another Stirling generator. And some basic resources. So we're gonna make those, but we do need to make sure that we maintain our polymer count. We're going to launch this. What we're going to do is we're going to use that other power supply. We're going to bring over the water. And then we'll make some fueled extractors here. So since we have that challenge, I am considering... What's your area? And you need... Interesting. Biotech or physics? I think we probably want physics for this run. Consumption 5. So these two would be all that this Stirling generator could support out the gate. 5. What is maintenance on these? So we also need to keep an eye on our machine parts. Let's get a storage here to serve this. 3's fine. We don't need food, we don't need rare. We don't need electronics here, we don't need polymers. We're just gonna need those things. We do need to bring our power down. So we'll grab this. A little awkward. There we go. Start in on our setup over here. Take that apart. So over here, we'll go ahead and pop that down. And we actually do need to figure out a way of daisy chaining. What do we need for water? That was something that we did overlook. We did not think what we would need for water. Life support. Water extractor. Concrete and 2. So ideally we would have something like this. And those also... I should unbind that. I don't like rotating my camera. 5 consumption, base production of 5. Not there. Let's get the extractor. That way it's not raising dust and hitting this guy. So let's run our power over to there. So that is connected, and then we need pipes. All the pipes. So this is so we can get fueled extractors going. That's probably all we're going to need. So all that's fine. You can put electronics here, just to have that storage. And same with polymers. Just clear that out. So our first drone hub is probably going to be something like here to service all of that area. Speaking of which, robotics. Why did it not? There we go. Oh, you're right. We need to start scanning sectors. So we want to do the ones around us first. And we also want to keep an eye on these milestones. So we don't get much in the way of like just money from this group. Again, that's just something that we're going to need to be cognizant of. We may have already scuffed this mission, I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not used to playing on this high of difficulty, and I think I've only played as Russia once. So it's definitely going to be a bit of a challenge for me, but that's why we have it on challenge mode. So here we're going to want to stair step this. And you, oh right, we did forget to put our dumping sites. So dumping site and dumping site. Then over here we'll also need a dumping site, so just put it right there. What we'll likely do is we'll likely bring this over here.
Complete.
And now this is not being serviced. So one of the things you can do is you can just bring a shuttle. Polymer and fuel refineries. We will eventually want that, but we'll probably keep going down on robotics tree. So we only have 1,740,000 left. Let's go cargo. I think we need to get both of those going. We are going to need our first drone hub. Stirling generators are an expensive way of getting energy, but I also feel like they might be one of the better initial ways of getting energy, specifically because of the dust storms. So solar power is generally a pretty good early way of getting it because the upkeep is only metal, which usually there's a lot of lying around on the ground. But with the dust storms, I am concerned that we would not then have enough actual energy to function. So I guess we can go ahead and try just making sure that we're well stocked on machine parts and going that route. We need to make sure that we have plenty of polymers. Let's go and buy a couple more drones. No, 2 more anyway, just to keep that concrete factory going. Getting each of the explorers that we don't have. Don't need to worry about food because we're not bringing anybody up yet. We are eventually going to want to buy a machine parts factory for our first group, I think. Because we can get to polymer pretty quickly, and we can probably buy the electronics that we need specifically for the drone hubs, because I think drone hubs are about the only thing that needed early. So even though this is a little inefficient, we're not completely using our rocket. I think we're going to start with this and bank the 380,000. And we're just going to plop that rocket down here. It's going to serve as a drone hub for this area. So we'll put it overlapping a little bit so that they can share the storage. Yep, and these guys are building this. And then we'll go ahead and build another one of those. Not that. Here. Too far from drone. Then they will bring... I don't think we're going to need electronics, guys. I think we just need parts, metals, and concrete. I can see us wanting fuel here to fuel extractor this. So what do you need? You need 6 concrete and machine parts. So give us desired amount of 6.
Sector scanned. Anomaly found.
You see, we're getting a good chunk of metal just from these. In fact, we probably need to make a dedicated metals depot. Oh, we have a dedicated metals depot. Good.
Electrostatic dust storm approaching.
Yep. So we knew that was coming.
Anomaly found.
And then once this gets here, we'll be able to start actually researching these node points to really help us get some early technologies. Oh, did we not? We literally did not grab enough concrete. I should have made sure that we had enough. It's like, how close y'all gotta be? So once they drop that off, we will be able to move this group right here. And then we will then have metal out to here. Sorry, not metal. We will have resources out to there, which means we can go ahead and... that's production, isn't it? Yep. Fuel refinery. We are... this. Approximately here, but unfortunately we apparently can't land there. Oh, can't land during dust storms. Okay, well that's something I did not know, so this thing's got to just chill out there until the dust storms are ready. So in 7 more hours, we can get that back online.
Sector scanned.
I am actually going to need to dip into wind turbines, which produce 5 base. Let's get into 3 to begin with. Build this guy here. Connect. Like I said, these can be costly because of the machine part maintenance. Can be a little rough in the early game. We are online making our fuel now. We can fuel our rockets as well as our... Let's grab a couple of these. We assign them there. So that was you, and reassign you. So just a couple more. Then we're going to... There. Do the keys, and then we'll do the bonus science. While we're... Darn it. That was you, 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 back to here. Now, give me this. I want you to go collect all of the metals and bring them back here.
Research complete.
Let's make sure we've got a concrete depot right here. We're not worried about that one yet, but again, we want to just kind of keep going down the robotics line because eventually we do want to be able to just build our own drone hubs.
Milestone achieved.
We've discovered a magnificent vista at the site of the anomaly.
Excellent. We have more applicants. That is kind of a cool construct.
We've analyzed material from the anomaly, and it completely validates our hypothesis on abiogenic petroleum.
500 million funding could be pretty big in the early game. I actually think if we fail this challenge, it's going to be in the early game. As much as I love tech cost reductions, I really do feel like if we lose this challenge, it's going to be in the early game. So keeping an eye on our milestone, sorry, our sponsor. We are only farming. Oh, I got it. It's keeping a tally up to this point. So we basically just need to make sure that all of our concrete producers are actually going. And I think there's a good chance that this will be where our first dome is. It's going to either be here or here. So I want this to be between them anyway. So it looks like we can get on almost all 5 of these. Do have the concern then that we aren't on our fuel, but we can always move the fuel over and just disable that one. So we'll have this be our first drone hub. That'll help keep both of these running at maximum efficiency, because we're just constantly running into the fact that we don't have enough drones fueling this.
Anomaly analyzed.
There's more to the barren environs.
So we have unlocked drone robotics, or drone swarm. We've unlocked Martian engines, which is pretty sweet. So it's a little unfortunate that we didn't have this one before this. But we do really want the extra research. Or before we created this, but I think we need to get this up and running. Because we want to make sure that we, in the first year, or in a single soul, get... How are we doing on electricity? Production 7, so total demand is currently 18. So we can have another one of these. Build.
Anomaly analyzed.
Electricity.
Sector scanned.
That's not
Anomaly
electricity.
found.
There's more to the barren.
So we are deep in physics. But we kind of want robotics to begin with. And then we'll start getting in on engineering. That's a good one early too. Go ahead and get a universal depot closer to this hub.
Research complete. Anomaly analyzed.
Perfect. And we will fuel extractor after that. Oh, it would probably help if we powered it.
Research complete.
So we're trying to get as much of this concrete up as we can. Perfect. So we use those initial like 2,000 freebie points that we got to unlock our 2 research generating techs in the Explorer AI, which generates 100 per soul, and just flat gives our sponsor bonus an extra 100. So our sponsor is now up to 350, and our explorers themselves are at 100. And so we're just getting 450 passively now without actually having any research buildings or outsourcing, which is paying for the research. So for early generation, we're doing okay. And again, we're kind of going in on robotics right now because we want to make sure that our drones and drone hubs are up to snuff so that we can kind of pivot as we need. We actually probably want to take a couple of these and reassign them over here. Because there's just not much action going on here. What do sensor towers need? So they initially need...
Meteor incoming.
We are going to build a couple of these.
Meteor shower incoming.
Why do we have a split power grid? Must have gotten hit by a meteor. Oh, do we not? We're not making enough electricity. So we'll go ahead and dip into one more wind turbine. The reason we're using
Sectors
Stirling
down.
generators and wind turbines over
Resources
alternative
are
sources
low.
of energy. Hey, there we go. We got our prefabs. Also getting a good base of concrete. I want to make sure that we have a good base of this before we build our first dome. We are 12 souls into our challenge, and we don't actually know how close we are to the 10,000, so we won't get to find that out. Quick math would tell us that we're not doing great. So we probably need to get that first
Research
dome up
complete.
sooner as opposed to later. And it's mined. Sorry, I'm looking at the thing. It just says extract 10,000 resource units from deposits before Soul 100. So I think we are going to get on this double rare metals, and then we can buy whatever we need.
Meteor incoming.
Ruh-roh, Raggy. We're hit. Just got the prefabs. Low on storage, we knew that. What's our research doing? Low G drive. We're actually going to stop low G drive. get on drone hubs. And then for biotech, because we need to start thinking about our first dome. Probably go ahead and get on farm so that as soon as we have people, we can have a farm going. How are we doing on scanning? Because we would like more water if at all possible. And there should, in theory, be some around us. Know about that. Once we have a drone hub over here, we'll actually probably use that drone hub to make our ramp here, just so that we can start getting the vehicles down into this area. Are you done? You are done. Let's get you to grab all the metal here, bring it back.
Meteor incoming.
Yep, that hit our cord, so that needs to be repaired.
Meteor incoming. Sector
Did that
scanned.
really just straight up
Meteor
destroy it?
incoming.
Oh, okay. I was saying that's some junk. So this is the fun of meteor storms and why they are so
incoming.
challenging.
Meteor incoming. Meteor incoming.
That just destroyed all of them. Okay, now I know you cannot do that.
Meteor incoming.
Let's rebuild that one, and then we
Resources
need
are
to
low.
split these up. I've never had that happen before in all the games that I've played, so that was quite a blow. Spread these out. 1, 2, 3. We are putting a dome here. It was quite unfortunate, chat. I actually think we're gonna need this to be gone. So let's do that now. And then we're going to reroute this around. So probably gonna want this here. May cheat it. So that we can eventually get on that metal too. And I'll show you why that's fine here in a moment. So yeah, we are going to want to rerun this cable. First of all, how much do you have left? You're a little over halfway depleted, so you're not long for this world anyway, but we will go ahead and reroute this. Yep, so our first extractor has depleted, because we know that these are just not very rich concrete deposits, which is why we got in on an area where there were 6 of them close together, because no individual one is going to be big. We're going to want to get into the waste rock becomes concrete tech probably pretty quickly.
Electrostatic dust storm approaching.
Just Yes, I can. We're going to go ahead and get going on our first dome because I am concerned about... That should be close enough for us to get on that extractor. Blocking object. What object is blocking? We'll be able to get on both of these still, and we should have the range to get on this and still be in range for our colonists. Your colonists can only go to this distance away from the dome to work in outdoor buildings, or outdome buildings, I should say. And then we're going to need to give that power. What power? How much are you making? 1 of 4. There's our 1. Probably gonna need more than that. How many machine parts do we have on this? So we kind of need to bounce these guys back and forth so that they can put resources on this. Got the polymer, working on the concrete. Perfect. Then we're going to need a
Research complete.
Moxie. Rotate this. And like I said, we're going to want to make sure that we have ample... Forgot to hold down shift. Oxygen supply. And we're going to want to make sure that we have ample water supply. So pipe. And off of the pipe, we're going to want a couple of water towers fueling up. Just remembered meteors. So we're going to want to split these up a little bit. So we'll have a water tower and an oxygen tank over here. Perfect. Until we get struck by something. We've got drone. We've got a heavy drone load here, which is fine because y'all are constructing this. Totally cool. Is there a way to make it so that when I Alt-Tab it doesn't stop playing the music? Okay. Meant to check that as soon as I turned it on, but totally forgot. Here we are. So we're starting to get our first dome up and running. It's going to allow us to get our first extractors. We have fueled our first rocket for deployment.
Sector scanned.
How have our scans been going? We do have additional technology. Speaking of which, we want to make sure that we're staying on top of what we want. So I think this is going to be a pretty good one because we're a little short on power. So we may grab this after the soil adaptation. Since we make fuel faster, I'm not as worried about this one right now, but we are going to want to get a polymer factory relatively early so that we don't have to keep buying polymer. Not super concerned about probes at this point, now that we have kind of our place. I think once we feel comfortable about food for our colonists and biotech, we're probably going to hit engineering really, really hard. Although physics with amplify. If we could figure out a good way of generating a lot of power early, and maybe what that is Stirling generators that we purchase plus just a polymers factory, so that we can open them up and just be okay with the extra maintenance. Maybe we can get on extractor amplification so that we can get the most out of these extractors that we have around our first dome. So all of that was to say for research, low G synthesis, you want that, then that. We'll think about this. We're going to need to make sure that we buy an early
milestone achieved.
Robotics. So now that we know this is where our
research complete.
Oh, right. How much power does this take? Dumps. 15. Yep. So that's going to be 2 more of these. Or we start to just open up. So now we've tapped that. So our dome is functional. We are accumulating oxygen in our tank. And we are accumulating water. And there we go. We hit our first dust storm.
Select a sector to scan.
We know that it's not working. Where do we want our first ramp? I think we're going to go down with our first ramp because it just gives us access to so much more. Not that one. To scan. Not you two. Because early on, we're just trying to get as many of those breakthroughs as we can. Speaking of which, why aren't you? Oh, dang it. Go repair that. Go repair that. We need it. Oh, drone number 1. The first drone.
Anomaly analyzed.
Still in our first dust storm, which is great. Perfect. How much energy do these require? 3. I think we need to build this one, and then we'll leave this between to service both areas. I think we need electronics for this, right? Yeah, we need 8 electronics, so...
Resources are low.
There we go, Max is back up and running. I really want our oxygen supply to have enough in it for several souls worth of oxygen because of these dust storms.
Research complete.
There's our autonomous sensors. If we're at autonomous sensors, where are we now? Extractor amplification, low G synthesis. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good. And how are we doing on machine parts? So our machine parts is a little low. Considering sending this rocket back now. And we will put our first rocket pad. Is that in range? No. So we need to be in range there. Alright, well we've kind of... We need to rerun this electricity, I think. So give me this cable. There to there and over. And as soon as that's built, we're going to delete this. Because we want a... So the landing pad makes it so that your rockets kick up less dust, which makes it so that you have to service the buildings around them much less often. You're just not getting. Need you to deliver some electric components. And that'll maintenance those two. How are we doing? Your life cycle is pretty much done. End of an era. How are you doing? You've got some time to go. Okay. So we're just waiting for this to get delivered electronics.
Sector scanned.
That's plenty. I want you to take those there. Now I want you to unload. I want you to... Oh, you'll take them right off there? Well, here. Grab them here. That's something I didn't know. Sweet. Didn't forget about that, but also didn't do anything about it. Yep. Unload your last electronic there. Alright, we're gonna need to do a supply run.
Research complete.
From mandatory upgrades. Mission HQ on Earth has declared the effectiveness of our resource extraction as main priority. Duh. Extractionification project has received a massive funding increase and a lot of scientific focus has been shifted towards it. The top brass wants you to begin installing the new upgrades as soon as possible. Effect: the extractor amplification has been revealed and it costs 50% less. We can request a supply pod with 10 drones and 60 polymers, or we can reveal the rest of the amplification techs and they cost 20% less. feel like that's going to be best for us because we want as many of those as possible. So, factory amplification. No. Research amplification. And I think those were the only ones. And we already had extractor amplification. So maybe it would have been best to grab the polymers. But here we are. So now we have factory amplification for when we get to that point. And we already are on the low G synthesis. We'll go ahead and grab, like, queue up this one, but I have a feeling that's probably not going to be what we stay on. How is our oxygen supply? Okay, I feel comfortable enough that we can so we've got an apartment. Does the farm take electricity? Because we might just build it now. It's gonna bark at me. So we're gonna go ahead and build the farm. And then we're going to probably want 2 of these to be high-rise apartments. And then we're going to put eventually the arcology there. But again, we need to figure out something for power that isn't going to completely kill our resources. So let's look at that rocket. We have no rockets available. You're currently serving as a bridge. Do y'all not have metal? Y'all don't have metal. Grab all that metal. Bring it here. So you're currently serving as a stopgap between the two. Alright, we got some free. I want to make sure that we get that. So launch that, dude. Because that's going to be key for us to maintain power as well as water. So we want to buy one of those early and just to have some machine parts generation. Because right now we're going through 0.7 a sol. So as long as we make like 1 or 1.5 a sol, we'll stay ahead of all of our needs. But we are going to need to use more of those extractors and things along those lines. So we're at around an hour. So to start off with, we've got a good base going. We don't have colonists yet. We're at Sol 22. I have no idea how close we are to that extraction goal. I would guess we're a little over 10% of the way there, judging by how much concrete we have and knowing that we've used a bunch of it. But once we get colonists here, we'll start to hit the rare minerals depots pretty quickly, as well as the underground minerals with probably full engineers, as many as we can get. And we're going to try and make our colonists as comfortable as possible so that we can get through the founder stage as quickly as possible so that we can bring more people onto the planet. So that's what we're going to be doing in the next episode. So thank you for joining me, and people on Twitch, stick around. We're just going to keep playing through. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for future content, and check us out on Twitch for some of our streams.